Morning, everybody. It's Ryan here from Sales Chatter. I'm your co-host. Welcome to the Logistics Podcast, where we try to get a million reps. 10,000 reps to hit a million GP. I'm your co-host, Ryan. My buddy here, Jeff Dickinson, the bodacious cowboy himself, president and CEO of RGTX Logistics Solutions. Jeff Dickinson, how you doing this morning, brother?
Good, my friend. How about you? What's
I'm doing
happening?
awesome. It's been a crazy week. As I feel like we always kind of say that, but it's been a great, fruitful week. As you were kind of telling me off air, hey, it's those days when you're not doing anything, when the time just drags and it's just boring. But both of us, we can't relate to
My
that. So you
week
know what?
was filled. My
Yep.
week was filled. So you know what? Let's get into this.
Boom.
To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
And there we are. Another week wrapped up with our theme, planning and mindset. And let's start with that, man. What's kind of been some of your highlights this week, and kind of going through the topics as well.
Oh man, well, we were on point. Number one, I think that we were very focused on what we wanted to accomplish, which was great. We spoke about a tremendous amount of things, and how planning definitely affects what you do daily, weekly, monthly, pretty much for the whole year. That if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, pretty much, right? Or should I say it the opposite? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Correct.
There we go.
Yeah, I had to think about that for a second. Little tongue twister there, but yeah, it's so relevant that it's about reinventing yourself and putting down all those things that you want to accomplish, and how are you going to accomplish them. Pretty much, how are you going to plan your day out and your week to reach those goals and objectives. And hopefully we were spot on a lot of things that we discussed. Really, I don't know, what were your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think when you and I started talking about, hey, let's switch it up, let's have some themes this year and kind of get to the where we can kind of, not necessarily that there wasn't value before, but just kind of like be a little bit more scheduled there. I thought in the mindset of like Ryan, who started 6 years ago,
Mhm.
what he would what he would have want to be told, the things that he would have heard, the things that he would have tried, and different things. And mind you, I don't regret how I got into the industry. It's the greatest learning experience I ever did. But that's the mindset that I've been taking, and I've put myself in those shoes for, like, let's say a newer rep kind of coming into there and just kind of like looking at this like big gorilla, and it's like, okay, well, I got to hit my goals, and I got to do this, and you versus you. And I love that when we're able to kind of give these like tidbits and things like that. We're not telling you what to do, we're telling you how we did it, and it's up to you whether you want to take it or you don't want to take it from there. And as Jeff kind of has like different internet there, but the one of the big things for me was, Ken was on Wednesday. I love to kind of get his perspective. We got to figure out a way that you and I and Ken and Dean together
Yep.
for, yeah, we should definitely be together on a show and kind of just pinball back and forth, because we give a lot of data. I like that our conversation this week wasn't specifically about numbers, like, okay, numbers coming out of this and this like that, because one of the questions I always kind of had is, hey, I'm a broker, like how is this information going to be relevant to me and my customers? And let's kind of go from there. So we talked about reverse logistics. Everybody deals with reverse logistics, as Ken was saying, as his wife orders like a million t-shirts, the two, and then returns the rest, right? And then we're kind of talking about different things. And the conversation that we had, especially with storytelling, I got like so much good feedback yesterday from people reaching out to us after the show saying like, hey, this is an amazing example. Storytelling is amazing. And even some people kind of messaging me and be like, you said or you said like a million times. So I feel like we should put up a counter. We'll kind of go from there.
Yeah,
But
a little count calendar,
yeah, we'll get a little ding. We'll kind of go from there. But let's have some fun. You want to recap a little bit about your day yesterday with Hold My Beer? I did catch the episode. It was pretty cool to kind of see everything.
It was a lot better than the first launch, that was for sure. I mean, I think our group would definitely agree with that. And heated comments. Everybody had good content that they supplied to everybody. We all had our own point of views. Some we disagreed, some we agreed with. But the end result is that we gave people multiple choices. multiple choices from that show. And it's just like what we do here. It's so funny because what you were saying about yourself about 6 years ago and everything. When I started, I didn't plan to be where I am right now.
Yeah.
I didn't. It's so funny how things just happen to evolve, and I think that comes, which is most important, is knowledge,
Yes.
and what you learn every single year, every month, every week, and whether or not you have the proper management and the boss that could help you along the way. I had no intentions on getting into the sales area because I love what I do. What I did on the logistics side, being in house. But again, that created how I'm here today and what I'm doing. And I don't consider myself a broker. You know what I feel about them? I consider myself more of a brokered out logistics solutions provider. I like that term
I
better.
love that. You're kind of expanding it to me.
When you plan, I think that's a new acronym. What's that? BLSP. That's what I am, because I plan. I plan transportation management. I don't go for those transactional. And Jason Rabin yesterday was saying the same thing. He's not a transactional guy. He goes for big hitters. I just think that's where it's at, on the planning side. So I don't know. Plans change in your career in logistics. It's crazy, but it's fun.
It's fun, yeah, and we'll get into like our planning for like next week in terms of like prospecting and what we actually look for in the research, because it's going to be great for us to kind of go back and forth because we're completely opposite when it comes to that. And so it's going to be tons of fun, and we can always agree to disagree, as we always kind of say. And
Absolutely.
let's put our feet up a little bit. Let's have some fun a little bit because it is Friday. Yeah, exactly. No socks again today, Jeff. I was
No socks. I got shorts on. I wear shorts all year round, man. I really do. My wife thinks I'm crazy when I go out, and she goes, "It's freaking 30 degrees out. It's 15. What the hell you got shorts on?" I don't know. I love.
Oh, you're the shorts guy. I went to the mall this week and I saw a guy in shorts and I was like, bro, what are you doing? Like, but he was one of those guys who looked like he did not have a care in the world. He had his AirPods in, he was doing his thing. I'm still trying to we got some snow last night. I'm still trying to get away. Yeah, we got a little bit of snow. Like the dogs are loving it, but it'll be gone by noon. But I still am that guy who still wears like the flip-flops and the socks. I don't care what anybody says. It's very comfortable with me. Yeah.
No socks with flip-flops.
Oh, you're no sock. Ah, man, I don't want to get frostbite, man. And Jeff, you got a nice little comment here from Daman. Daman is the man. Had some amazing conversations with him. He's mentioned here like share the transitions and the transformations you made. Universe rewards those who learn and adapt. Blessings, my friend. And your successes are, I think, are well deserved. And and that's the one thing that it's so true. Like there's no way
it's so funny though. I mean, I've got a comment on Damon.
Of course you do.
I don't really consider myself a success. I mean, let's just delve into the word success. I mean, what does it mean? I mean, to me, success is the end. You know what I mean? After you tie all loose ends and you call it a day and you look at yourself and you go, was I a success? But until that day, until you get to that point, you're always trying to learn. So if you're learning, you're not successful the way I look at it. Maybe you're successful in learning another thing, another item or whatever, but it's that pattern, it's that trend of moving yourself forward and being that person that you want to be. Or maybe you don't know you're going to be that person, but you just happen to fall right into that, that hole. And it's like, it's go time, So yeah, I mean, I appreciate that comment, but I don't know. There's no end. I don't, like I said, how many months ago did I say there's no finish line? I don't have a finish line, man. I know you don't have a finish line either, because you're always looking to excel and better what you did last week.
Funny enough. So when it comes to logistics, I do have a finish line. Because I do have logistics. So I turned 34 on Christmas. I'm gonna be done by like 38 in logistics. That's like the I set the
Hey man, no, lose a good person.
But no, I'll still kind of be there. Like we'll see what kind of happens. But I think for me, I had to.
And
I love
why?
that we're having this
I gotta
conversation.
ask
Let's
you.
expand on this.
I'm crying. I'm
Yeah.
crying live, man.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah, yeah. This is the best because I had this conversation in the shower this morning. I swear to God, I did. Where saying was like, for me, when we were talking yesterday, Jason, one thing that stuck out with your show yesterday was Jason saying that stay in your lane, it's empty. That will always stick with me, to always kind of do with that. And for me, I play cricket, so one of the terms I use is bat in your crease. You always stay in your zone, right? You kind of
And
always
his own.
bat. Yeah, you bat in your crease, and for me, I look at my life in different stages, right? Like Ryan, and in blocks as well. I kind of look in like 3 to 5 year blocks. And I'm kind of like, I don't know, Jeffy. I don't know if you've come across these kind of guys, but like they'll do a startup, they'll build it up, and then once it's built up and it's sufficient, they'll leave and then go to another startup, and they kind of do that and kind
Oh
of
yeah,
build
I
up.
got a
They
good
they,
friend.
they
I
love
got
that
a good
progression with
friend
that.
that does that. Does M&A. He's a CFO. He's the CEO. Once he gets to where it needs to be, he parts his way, collects his money, and goes and starts another one up. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Go ahead.
yeah. So I was gonna say, like, so for me, I do have an end game, in logistics. I do love it, but I feel like there's so many things I want to explore and different things. I feel like that's, but we'll see. Who knows? We'll talk maybe if sales chatter is still going on for 4 years. We'll kind of see. But let's have some fun today. Let's have some random questions. DJ sent a message and said he cannot make it, so it'll be you and I. But I'll start with a weird question for you, Jeff.
I
My
love it.
friend,
Yes, my
is
friend.
a hot dog a sandwich?
Is a hot dog a sandwich? Is a hot dog a sandwich? Well, it definitely raises your cholesterol. That's for sure. And if you eat, I forgot it takes like 5 years off your life if you eat 1,000 hot dogs or something. I read something stupid about that, but is it a sandwich? It all depends. I
I
don't
need a
know.
yes or no. We're no gray areas here.
Hot dog. It's like, I mean, I consider hot dog falling in the category of knockwurst, sausages. I mean, it's all the freaking same thing, right? Some are shorter, some are longer. They
I'm
all go.
talking about like okay, you put a sausage, you put a hot dog, but you put it in a bun and you got condiments. Is that considered a sandwich?
I would say yeah.
There we go. Good.
I would say yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It's the same thing. It would. I think it's relatable to sausage, knockwurst. You name all of them. I mean, it's the same thing. You're putting it in a long roll, man, a hot dog roll. It's funny. You take sausages and you put them in a hot dog roll, or you put them in a hoagie roll, right? And some people take hot dogs and they wrap it in rye bread or white bread because they don't have hot dog roll. So I mean, well, so does it? So let me ask you this: so if you take a hot dog and you put it on white bread, is that a sandwich?
Definitely a sandwich, my friend. Anything to do between your sandwich between two a type of carb or bread or something like that, and you add some condiments. You're okay. So what is? I'm not a hot dog guy, but anytime you go to Costco, you got to right. It's $1.50 for a
All
hot dog.
games you have to.
You got it. You got to. What
Yeah.
condiments are you putting on your hot dog, Jeff?
Ooh, relish. Um, Sometimes habanero sauce because I love hot food. All different types of mustard. Um, Tried ketchup one time and that was like disgusting. Um,
Really?
yeah, sauerkraut, man. Sauerkraut, definitely on that. Chili dogs, they're pretty good, but sometimes they can get nasty.
Yeah. I'm a stickler for not being
and
like messy.
cheese. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty open on it. Somebody says, you should try this. It's fantastic. I probably would.
Yeah,
You
see,
know,
so you're completely open, and it shows about the personality. And next question for you that I think is pretty cool: $5 million today, or you can go back in time 10 years ago with the knowledge you have today. Tax free, by the way. So I know the U.S. You guys like to tax everybody, but
only 5 years,
10 years, 10 years.
10 years.
So 5 mil or 10 years with the knowledge you have today.
I'd do it. I'd do it in 2025.
No, you got to pick one, man. You got to pick the 10 years, or you got to pick the 5 mil. Yeah, I like that you're like this. Is this how you like operate your?
You know what? I'll go 10 because, and the reason why I say that is, and I'm being serious on this. I tell my wife this all the time, and it's a great question. I wish I did this 10 years ago. What I'm doing right now, I can't even imagine. I can't even fathom. I can, but I can't where the hell I would be if I had 10 more years under my belt doing what I do today. So I would say, yes, I would do it. I would do it in a flash.
Okay, so you take the 10 years. So I like that you kind of go there. I take the 10 years too, but I take the complete opposite turn of it. I would go and invest in Bitcoin. I would go invest in Apple. Well, no, Apple was probably a big giant already 10 years ago, but I'm going there to like build that out, and find out, figure out who was the Series winners were like last year. And we're making a killing, It's kind of like hot tub time machine, but I take the complete opposite. It's kind of cool to kind of say that.
Yeah, and the reason why I say that is that I'm not a sales guy. I hate brokerage. So if I took what I knew today and did it 10 years ago, I think I'd have a little bit more knowledge in sales, but I'd still use the product that I developed for myself and how I do my approaches and use that 10 years ago. That would be bang.
Okay, so like, okay, let's deep dive on that because I love having this conversation with you and kind of deepen in. If you were to go back 10 years ago, obviously, and you get to have your knowledge, what is 3 things that you would implement right away?
3 things that I would implement right away. What I'm doing right now, I mean, I'm serious because you know what? Because I'm consistent. I wave a little bit when I gain that knowledge. That's the only time I flex. But if I'm successful and I'm confident in my abilities and I'm getting good results from it, why would you change? The only thing you would change is that you would step it up another level. So, I can't say what those 3 things are because I have like maybe 25 or 30 of them, that I would be consistent and I would constantly do the same damn thing over and over again because I know the results that it gave me and my customers. Does that make any sense? So,
Of course.
let's go back to that 10-year question. So just imagine if you just took that question you just asked now and you went back 10 years and you applied that. It's just freaking crazy.
It's crazy to think about.
It's crazy.
It's
Crazy nuts.
Yeah, just the outskirts.
So here's the thing. How about this question? Instead of going back 10 years, how are you going to plan yourself for the next 10 years? Right? So, I mean, I think just think about that, right? So if you have that same mindset as you have today, right? Because 10 years from now, if that question was asked, you'd be saying the same damn thing that you're saying right now, but you'd be further advanced in what you're doing. You apply a little bit more structure, a little bit more education, a little bit more knowledge. There would be more automation. I mean, you could just see what's coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, you can see it pretty straightforward.
It's like, are you a chameleon-like person? Do you have quick adaptability to change? If you don't have that, you're going to fail miserably because of how fast the industry is changing. Are you up to speed? Are you in front of it, behind it, or with it? That's the question.
That's a great question. And like I love this. I thought we're not going to talk logistics on Fridays. We're going to have a little bit. I'm just joking.
It's questions, man.
It's life. It's life.
It's not logistics to me. I love this stuff, so it's not. It's
no,
fun.
I'm just playing with you. But this one for the audience and yourself, Jeff. Because anybody with kids, what are the most important lessons that you hope to pass on to your kids? Yeah, let's get a little deep to that.
So what would I say? One thing I would change, I'd be a better dad. I really would, because being in my position and what I wanted to do and how demanding it was, my job was first. It really was, and I'm telling you folks out there, don't do that. Take it from the old man. Don't do that. it really, it's, and it's so funny. I mean, the funny thing about it is that I've been with my wife for a very, very long time, and I count in the years that we dated. I'm with her 43 years. Um, and I've probably seen her 10 of that 43 years. And that's why we stayed together. I mean, because I was always on the road, I was that fired up guy. I mean, I still am at my age right now, man. I got more energies than 30 and 40-year-olds,
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, don't do that and get that. And we talked about that, Ryan. We talked about it about work-life balance.
Yep.
Not too long ago, and you really have to do that. The takeaway from this show, I'm telling you right now, is that balance, man. If you aren't doing that or thinking about it strongly, this is a good weekend to start doing that, my friends out there. Seriously.
Really is. And it's really important. Like I'm a big believer in work-life balance, trying new things and getting yourself out of your comfort zones. Like for
Mm.
me, we've got like in Canada here, I don't know if you guys have it in the States, but there's like a comedy, what is it? You call it a comedy shop or something like that. It's a place where you can basically go see comedy, stand up and stuff like that. And we're gonna do that tomorrow night. We've never been to this place called Yuck Yucks, and we're gonna
Oh,
go
I,
experience. Yeah, we're gonna go experience
I love comedy, man.
yeah, and just the kind of different comics and different things. And I asked this question to my mom a lot, and it's a joke question, but I'll ask it to you, Jeff. How do I phrase it here? It's if your kids were to meet you at their age. So let's say you were the same exact age as your kids, and you guys are going to high school or you guys are college, wherever they are in life. Would you be friends, or would you guys be like, "Yo, that guy's a douchebag," or "Screw that guy"? I was asking to my mom. My mom was like, "No, no, you're too much of an asshole for me,
we
so we
would get
probably would be friends."
my daughter's into racing trucks, building diesels, has her own business. Uh, she's hilarious, curses all the time. I mean, she should be a trucker. We would have got along pretty damn good.
Nice.
If 20 and she was 20, yeah, because we were both that crazy, out of control, fun-go-lucky type people, and I think we would have meshed pretty well. Yeah, and I see a lot of her. I see a lot of that in her. It's like she was into horses and stuff like that because of my wife. And then I was like, man, I wish I didn't do the horses and that we built cars. And then all of a sudden she's out of horses and now she's racing trucks and that cars. So it's like, I mean, I see it's hilarious, but yeah, we would have been,
You guys
we would have been buds.
Oh, that's all. I love that, man. I love that, man. Maybe you should ask her. Ask her if like the opposite too.
Well,
like,
I can't because she wasn't born yet.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Right. Oh god, that's such a question for me to kind of think about here. That's awesome kind of see. And I think. Well, let's expand about that because I'm having a good time and I like kind of being like a little bit of an interview. I feel like you're on the Ryan Mohammed talk show today and we're interviewing to find out about your life. But tell everybody here, if you're comfortable with it, but how did you meet your wife?
How did I meet my wife? That's real. That's okay. So, I was engaged before I met my wife, and I went to go buy my ex-girlfriend a really, really nice dress. And so my wife was working in this place called Paraphernalia in Paramus Park Mall, and she was she's older than me, not much, 6 months, but big deal, right? So I went in there and I had this big orange jacket. Here's this 20-year-old kid walking in there. And so I pick out this really sexy dress and stuff like that. So, I looked at her and I was like, And I said, hey, listen, I'm buying this for my fiance. Would you mind trying it on? I have no idea why I said that. And so she put the dress on. She comes out. I was like, the rest is history. But it took some time getting together. We actually, I'll tell you what. Today, and I'm not kidding you, is our day that we met. Today
Get
My,
out of here. No, no, you're lying.
I'm not kidding you.
And this wasn't planned, by the way. Anybody's
Oh
watching.
no, this wasn't planned, and I'll tell you, Friday the 13th, I love it because I'm not superstitious whatsoever. It's always been a great day. My father, if he was still alive, today was his birthday. He would have been 104 years old, and I met my wife February 13th, 1980, on today, and we went and I'm serious. This is just I don't know. I just got goosebumps. I was just
Yeah, yeah. I think you need to take the day. I'll put you out of office and spend the whole day with your wife.
yeah,
Maybe go back to that place and try on that dress again, and
yeah,
see if they
and
still around.
it's so funny. And then shortly thereafter, we didn't get married until about 5 or 6 years later because had my own business and all of that. And then she started me into the warehousing. So let's just call it. I got a little over 40 years in the business. So and hey, I still got a head of hair. I don't look my age for sure. And like I said, somebody said go load a truck. I bet you I could beat a lot of people out there loading trucks. I would challenge somebody on that because man, we used to. I'll tell you, my wife created this monster here. She really did, just by opening up a door and saying, "You should try it." And then the funny thing about it is that my first boss was actually my best man in my wedding, and we're still best of friends right now. I haven't seen him in a while because we've been just really really busy. And it's funny, of course I asked him to be, but he's Jewish and I'm Catholic, and then different religions and stuff like that. And next thing I'm in his wedding party as well, and crushing the glass and all this kind of stuff. So I mean, it's been fun, man. Like I said, I have no intentions on retiring, man, because I love this industry so much. I've seen so much than other people out there that it's just crazy. And my wife had a lot to do with it. So I thank her for that. I really do. She has a lot of patience to put up with me.
That's awesome, man. That's.
How about you, man? How did you guys get together?
Yeah, like our story is actually pretty cool as well. We were like best friends for a couple of years. She was such a strong supporter. Like I think we met on social media through my music, and she'd always like it. She'd always be like so supportive of my stuff. And there was a time where I broke up with my ex-girlfriend, and there was this one time where she was single and I was single, and we just hung out. And I'm a pretty religious guy, so I think I asked her, "Hey, you want to go to like temple, which is like our religious
Sure.
place?" I was like, "Do you want to go to temple with me?" And we did, and we hung out, and that was like a week. And actually, our date that we met is actually February 12th. So next month will be that's our
Oh,
date. Yeah.
really? Yesterday?
No, February next month. Next month.
Oh,
Yeah, that'll be our date. But there was this one day specifically that I'll always remember because it's one of those days, Jeff, that everything happened, which was so weird. So let me give you a background story. She went to go get a tattoo that day. We didn't talk that much. I was planning for a temple event show. Like I put together shows like to raise money, fundraisers, and so on.
which is awesome.
So yeah, so my stuff that I was gonna do was that I was looking at venues because our temple is pretty small. So I was looking at venues, right? So hey, let me break down that day for you. She got her tattoo during the day. Um, at lunchtime, I met with my ex for the last time to just switch our things. Like she had some books that would give it like we had stuff that we were just switching. So I literally met her for like 2 seconds. Like I was still angry about the whole breakup. So I literally met her, grabbed my shit, went back. I went for a workout with our priest because we're like really good friends. And he was telling me, he was like, hey, like she's a really good girl. And in my mind, I already knew that she was. And then I texted her, I was like, hey, you want to come meet me at the temple? And it's funny how life happens, Jeff. We went to the temple and it was dark. For the first time, I was in a dark temple. There was no lights, and we just sat there in silence.
So that's how she went out with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's definitely the
By
one.
voice, not by looks.
Hey, man, I was a pretty handsome guy, man. I'm pretty. I packed on the pounds a little bit over the years, but definitely pretty handsome guy. I know, just joking. But as soon as we left there, we sat in the car, we talked a bit, and then we're like, hey, man, let's do this. And then it's on in history, and now we're gonna be celebrating. The rest is history, man. We're gonna be celebrating, I think, 4 years this year. 4 years married this year in August. So It's awesome.
That's
Man. Marriage has been one of the best things that ever happened to me.
that's awesome. You gonna have kids?
That's in the plans. We'll see what kind of happens because I feel like it'll be injustice to not to. But for us, it's about God's timing and not our timing, right? So
And you know something? It's really funny. My daughter's going to be 30 this year, and I would have had kids a lot younger, but logistics took over my life, and so I became a dad at 33.
see.
And best thing in my life, probably the best thing that ever happened to me.
What's
Seriously.
crazy? It's crazy, Jeff, that you said that because my dad was 19. Like my dad's like really young. Like it's crazy to me
That's
because
awesome. You must have
yeah,
been very close with him.
yeah, my dad, like, it was awesome because, like, he was still physically able, like, he still is now to, like, play basketball, play hockey, play soccer. He was always there with me stride by stride, and
Yeah.
it's crazy to me to think about that because, like, even for me at, like, 34, I'm, like, thinking, like, "Holy crap, raising a family," but this guy was doing it at, like, 19, 20 years old, and it was different times back then, but to think of him as a full adult at that point was pretty crazy, but, yeah.
Yeah, that my dad was 40 when I was born, so I was a huge gap. So
Hey, man, it's life, man. It's
I tell you, it goes by fast. It's I don't know. I've always thought if I didn't take this career, would my life have slowed down? I mean, in retrospect, if you think about it, because the logistics industry is so damn demanding. Everything changes every single day. Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow, you have no idea what's going to happen. Something's going to happen, but you don't know.
you don't know
And
exactly, yeah.
before you know it, 5 years go by, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 years. And it's like,
Whoa.
and I tell everybody, that's why I said to you, why do you want to get out of logistics? I understand exactly what you're saying and stuff, but I'm just telling you my trip through this whole evolution, because it was a real evolution that I witnessed. What a great experience, man.
This is amazing, man.
I mean, would you do it again? I asked myself. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think for me, like, I think with everybody else who loves this logistics industry is that the question they ask themselves is like, I really wish I got into this 5 years earlier. I really could have hit some goals. I definitely could have seen some cool things and things like that. But,
And I
you
say
know,
it like that. I just said it before, on that sales side. I wish I could have done it like 10, 20 years ago. It would have
yeah.
been freaking unbelievable. Not to say that it wasn't unbelievable back then, but yeah.
It was yeah, exactly. And you know what? For me, and I wish Dan was kind of on this episode too, because like he's a high school dropout, right? And it's like
Yes.
for me, like I got my college diploma. Like I was gonna say this, and I'll say this everybody to be a little bit vulnerable here, but if I didn't do logistics, Jeff, I don't know what I'd be qualified to do. Like I worked in a call center before. I worked like in customer service before. I did like different like I'm good at being a leader, but I don't know if necessarily like most of the entry levels is like, hey, you got to get a degree or so. I don't have that. I don't want to go back to school for 4 years. I don't want to do that. I love selling, and logistics to me doesn't feel like selling because I've sold before. I've sold different things, and I'm like door to door stuff. I've sold cell phones. I've sold different things, but logistics to me is like it's so relationship based that I love this like to the
Absolutely.
core, to the core.
Absolutely. And I think, it was funny. TJ the other day said about planting a tree and sharing the shade or something to that effect, and it's all about planting the seed and who plants it, right? So I am so thankful. I mean, listen, I had a couple bosses that, I wouldn't bend over backwards if you paid me $1 million for.
Yeah.
But the real ones that are out there, they know who they are if they watch this show ever. I absolutely pat them on the back and thank them for getting me here. I mean, seriously, from a scrawny kid that knew absolutely nothing coming out of the hole, and somebody to take my hand and walk me through the fire. It was fantastic. And what I learned were from some of the best people out there that are still in the industry. And I thank them wholeheartedly. You know, we had some tough, and I'll be serious. You know, it wasn't peaches and cream, and those guys will tell you we had some battles. We had those things where we definitely agreed to disagree, and some things we just disagreed wholeheartedly, and there was no bending whatsoever. But we both had a job to do, and
Yeah,
that taught me those other things as well. And you know, I'm glad that I helped other people get up to that, and I watched them progress. And it's like it makes you feel good, all warm
it
and
feels
fuzzy
good, man.
inside.
It's yeah,
There's
it's awesome.
nothing better than that. There really isn't. When you see, even if they're not working with you anymore, and you just see them taking those next steps in that ladder and going up and everything like that, you're like, I had a good part in that, man. I
Yeah,
did.
you know, it's crazy. I still have people like on my Facebook and like things like that. Like I worked with or I trained when I worked at McDonald's when I was 15. So that's almost 17, 18 years ago. And just to kind of like for me, I think I saw a quote the other day. It was like, you know, I'm just so happy to see people progress in life. Like I see them with their families, you know, see them achieving new milestones and things like that. That gives me fulfillment, you know, like there's nothing monetary that you can give me that'd be like, oh my God, I'm successful or anything like that. But for me, I love to see people happy and progressing in life. And even the ones who are not, even if they're standstill, like I'd love to, I reach out to everybody. Hey, what do you guys going on in life? Like, how's it been? You know, and kind of reminisce on the good old days, I guess.
Yeah,
But
right.
it's good to have those conversations. So
Well, that kind of feeling is worth more than any dollar could be paid to me.
yeah,
Seriously, you
yeah,
know
yeah,
that because we're all born to do something, and we don't know what we're going to do in our lives when we're born, and then we fall into a thing. And I think it is our obligation to our Creator that we need to share that knowledge and help other people along and give where you can and when you can, you know. And I believe in that as strongly. So if I'm helpful to other people and whatever they want to do with it, that's okay with me. But when they do it and I see what happens after they do it, man, that's awesome.
it's awesome because I'm smiling from ear to ear because the chapter that I read in my book yesterday, I think like a monk by Jay Shetty, was specifically about that. The Hindi word for that is called sewa, which means like you're in service of others. You know, like you're not, you don't know what you're gonna, same thing, like you don't know what you're gonna be doing in life, but any kind of wealth, sorry, any kind of knowledge that you acquire, even wealth, you know, always kind of make sure to kind of give that back. You know, kind of pay it forward. Essentially, it's kind of like the Hindu way of kind of saying paying it forward, but you know, it's awesome. But I think we'll wrap up on there because we've
Yeah.
had an amazing episode. Jeff, what do you got planned for the weekend, my friend?
Well, it's my birthday on Tuesday, so
Get out of here.
my wife and I are taking off tomorrow, going down to Cape May, New Jersey for the night, hitting Atlantic City, going to the casinos, going out to dinner, going out to some wineries. Yeah, so it'll be good. Yeah, time to celebrate another year.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome, man. Well, you know, we'll have a little Tuesday birthday episode for you. But
Oh, there
for
you go.
myself, I got my first gig tomorrow as a videographer, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, good, nice.
It's gonna be a lot of fun to kind of see some friends and some family and things like that. And then I think, like I said, we're gonna go to that comedy show tomorrow night, and then Sunday.
Comedy.
Sundays, I like to relax, man. We're very scheduled on Sundays. We like to go to our groceries, go to the same grocery, go to the same bakery, get ready, get prepared, and things like that. Hit up the gym and things like that. So,
There you
with
go.
that being said, I want to thank everybody for coming out this week. Next week, guys, I can't. I think out of all the weeks that we've planned, brother, next week is my favorite. I don't care what anybody says. Prospecting, 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 prospecting. Picking up phone calls, emails, sending videos, snail mail, doing LinkedIn, all that stuff. We're covering that in the 4 days. I don't even know if we have enough days. Maybe we should extend it to 2 weeks, but we'll see how next week goes. But you know what? We're gonna have tons of fun. Definitely tune in as we go into prospecting for next week. Jeff, give me 3 words to sum up what next week's gonna be like.
Um, Beyond kick ass.
There we go. So thank you, everybody. Catch us on the replay, 12 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern time, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Love having you guys here. Thank you guys for being a part of this journey with us. And you know what? Have an amazing weekend. Be safe, and we'll see you on
Great
Monday.
weekend, man. Be safe.